Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knowing Real Estate with Allan and Pozzi and Meister. Art, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Allan.
That's great. Hey, it's another great day in real estate, and today we're going to talk. Art and I have a subject that's near and dear to a lot of people. We're going to talk about the 9 important things we don't learn in real estate school. Now, almost everybody, in fact, everybody that became licensed had to go to some form of real estate school, whether it was a formal training in a classroom or online training. Then you took a test and you got licensed. But there was a lot you didn't learn in real estate school. And I think what we teach in real estate school, though, in particular, is how to take and pass the test. Isn't that right, Art?
That's exactly right.
And so what we're going to talk about today is the things you don't learn in real estate school, but you need to know and need to understand in order to become a successful sales professional in real estate. So the first thing is how to overcome problems or how to overcome objections. And Art and I have talked a lot about this, and I think Art will agree. And I know I like problems. I like objections because that allows me to help my client solve a problem. That allows me to help me overcome the objection. When I'm solving problems and overcoming objections, I'm engaging with the client. And when I'm engaging with the client, they're seriously becoming engaged with me. Art, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's critical in our business. If the old adage, Allan, if we don't solve the problem, somebody else will.
That's right.
We've got to take those things on in a calm, constructive fashion and handle it for our clients. It's our responsibility. That's what the license is for. That's what it says we can do. So being calm under pressure is probably one of the toughest things we face.
Yep.
But we've got to face it, and you hit it head on. Keep your client informed on what's going on. Let him know that we've got challenges. Let him know that let him know that we're on it, that we're going to take the following steps to solve it, and we expect it to be solved or have an answer with whether we can do it or not by thus and such a time.
Exactly. One of the things I always like to talk about, especially to agents that are just coming into the real estate industry, is you've got to be your best public relations specialist. You've got to tell, and you've got to always, for lack of a better word, brag about yourself to your clients and let them know what you're doing, whether you're representing a buyer or seller. Let them know what you're doing from the time you go under contract to the time you close and you close the deal, because they need to understand your value. And the way they understand your value is when there's a problem and you're solving it, but you got to let them know about the problems you solve that they don't know about. And I think that's all part of the process, and that's part of communication.
Right.
And so, but that's a very important part. And again, solving problems and overcoming objections, I welcome them because that helps us engage with our prospects. It helps us engage with our clients and our customers. Another thing they don't teach us in real estate school is how to lead generate. One of the things I've always talked about to new real estate agents, there's 2 parts of any real estate practice. The first part is doing the business. That's what we learn in real estate school, how to write a contract. We learn the law. We learn the practice of real estate. But lead generation is really the part where we need to spend time on real estate. If we're not generating business, if we're just doing business, if we're creating flyers and brochures, but we're not generating business, then we're out of business. How do you feel, Art?
That's exactly right. I was told when I first got into this side of the business that it actually is a lead generation business. It's our ability to generate leads, and we can certainly talk about some of those sources. But there has to be, you can see today I'm wearing my name tag. I wear it every day because I'm not a secret agent. I want people to know the business I'm in. And how many times did people walk up to you at HEB and ask you, "Oh, you're in real estate. How's the market?" So we talked about that a couple of weeks ago and how we might handle that. But letting people know you're in the business is lead generation.
That's exactly right. And lead gen comes from, as Art kind of mentioned, it comes from all different directions. It can come from you formally prospecting, picking up the phone and cold calling people. It can come from you going to a church social and networking with people and wearing your name tag and or wearing some logo shirt or something like that, and people asking you if you're in the real estate industry. It can go by giving back to a charity. We call it get by giving. There's a lot of ways you can lead generate besides just cold calling and prospecting and doing all this hard stuff we don't like to do. And we got to make it easy on ourselves, but you've got to lead generate because, like we said, Art, if you don't lead generate, you're out of business.
There's a saying in our company that we use a lot, and that is prospect where your feet are.
That's exactly right.
So that forces you to not be a secret agent. And if you're talking to somebody wherever you're at, you
Yep.
could be in the library, at the gas station, at the mini market, out to dinner. You could be any number of places, and people always want to know what's going on in our business. So we've got an open door to talk about it, and those of us that take advantage of it continue to progress, and those of us that don't have let opportunity get away.
That's so great. And one of the things I found out when I got into the real estate industry is we're the most popular person at any party we go to. Because when they find out you're in real estate, everybody wants to know what the market's like.
I thought it was our personalities.
I thought it was too, but I found out real estate helps.
Okay.
Anyway, let's talk about the third thing that we don't learn in real estate school, and that's emotional management. And I think in this case, we're talking about, our emotional. One of the things we got to keep in mind is we're the unemotional third party in any transaction, but also the emotions of our clients, because our clients are going to become emotional. They're going to get their feelings hurt if they don't get the deal, the home they want. They're going to get their feelings hurt if somebody criticizes their home, if they're a seller. Hey, they don't like the home. The buyer looked at their home today and criticized the old carpet in the living room or something like that. But how do you feel about emotional management, Art?
Well, it's certainly a challenge, Allan. We're going to face that on just about every transaction that we do. We're going to face some sort of emotional situation, and you're right. Buyers and sellers, they take the comments personal.
Yep.
And when you do that, they do wear their hearts on their sleeves. But part of that is a real credit to us that they're willing to share those emotions with us. So we've got to be certainly experts in handling that.
Yes.
And just hear them out, listen to what it is, and tell them that we've been down this road before.
Yep.
So it's our ability to confer the confidence that we have and transfer that to them.
Yep. And I think we're just, what we're starting to see too in today's real estate market that's becoming more competitive. There's some buyers out there. If you're representing a seller right now, there's some buyers that feel, hey, maybe I'll put in an offer on this home 15 or 20% below market value because they think they can get away with it. And sometimes your sellers are going to feel insulted by that. Well, you've got to learn how to deliver those messages and let your sellers know, hey, we're just doing business, and now let's strategize on how to overcome this, maybe insulting offer, but don't become insulted, on something that a buyer or seller might do when we're in the business of negotiating a deal or when we're in the business of doing business.
Yeah, those low offers that we tend to get sometimes on our listings. I mean, it's part of the real estate negotiation. And one thing you can tell your sellers certainly is, we're going to take every offer and we're going to work every single opportunity we have. So that's an opportunity for us to do our job on their behalf like they hired us to do. And we've got a choice to make. You're either going to fulfill that obligation or you're going to sidestep it and let somebody else handle it. So taking action yourself and being at the forefront of that on behalf of your buyer or seller is exactly what you need to do.
And I think one thing we always got to keep in mind, no matter who we're representing, whether it's a buyer or a seller, there's three things we do with any offer or counteroffer. We can accept it, reject it, or counter. And that's the strategy we got to employ. And again, we got to take the emotion to a certain extent out of the transaction because, again, we're the unbiased third party. How about database management? That's, I think, something we don't really learn a whole lot about in real estate school, do we, Art?
We don't, and that tends to be a real Achilles heel for many of us as agents.
Absolutely.
We need to spend some portion of every single day updating our database. And I know we don't do it. We certainly don't do it as often as we should, and we don't do it as often as we would like to do it. And we get sidelined with other tasks that come up, maybe other issues that we've got on certain deals we have in escrow, other opportunities. We have unexpected buyers that show up unannounced from out of town.
Absolutely,
I mean, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with our day, but we tend to lose focus on not just the database, but following up with the people that we have in the database.
Absolutely.
And, you know, full disclosure, I know some of my clients are going to see these podcasts that we're doing, and they're going to know I didn't follow up with them either. I'm going to ask them right now, give me a call. You know, the phone does work two ways. Send me a text, send me an email, send me a video text if you want. I'll respond, and I'll apologize too. But I know we'd all like to be doing a better job in that particular area.
And I think there's always room for improvement in database management. And I think the first place to start in database management is putting it on your calendar. Put one day on your calendar to update and just manage your database. I tend to put it on Friday morning. Friday mornings just seem to be one of those mornings where I don't have a whole lot to do. Sometimes I have a whole lot to do, but most of the time I have a little bit of free time. Do I always do it every Friday morning? I have to be honest with you, no, I don't. But you know what? When you put it on your calendar, you have a higher chance of doing it than not doing it. And so, you know, database management, again, long-term success in real estate is when you have a good database, that's your business. And there's a rule of thumb in real estate, you know, your database is your business. That's your practice. And there was an old saying a long time ago, not really a saying, but a rule of thumb in real estate that when you have a database, let's say 20 or 30 years from now, 40 years from now, you decide to retire, quit, or hand your database over to a legacy, to a son or daughter, whatever it might be, that's a business that you can count on. But if you don't have a good database, there's nothing to deliver to your son or daughter. There's nothing to sell when you decide to retire. But by having a database with integrity, that's something you can leverage in the future. So again, good database management is not only for now, but it's also for in the future. Let's talk about buyer and seller psychology. It's kind of what we've been talking about the last few bullet points. Dealing with, you know, buyers and sellers are both very emotional people. They're heavily vested in their buying and selling process, depending on where they're at in the process, if they're selling or buying. But how do you feel about that, Art?
Well, it's certainly the buying and selling process and moving, the associated move, are one of the three most stressful tasks that we're faced with in life.
Yep.
And we need to understand that, and we need to deal with it accordingly. We need to be the best coach and cheerleader for our clients.
Yep.
And oftentimes we need to be the best psychologist too. So no one's going to take care of us except us, but it is our responsibility to take care of our clients.
That's exactly right. You know, there's a lot of roles we play in real estate, and counselor slash psychologist is probably one of them, and probably one of the most important roles we play in real estate. And how do we accomplish being a good quote unquote psychologist or counselor is we listen. We've got to listen to what our clients' needs are. We've got to listen to what our clients' concerns are. And when we listen to that, we're better engaged, and we have the ability to help our clients overcome whatever fear or whatever psychological issue they're concerned with. And again, that's what we do, and that's what we do well. And guess what? When we do that well, they're going to refer us to their friends and family, and they're going to say, hey, Art and Allan, they helped us through this process. It was very stressful, but they made it seem real easy. You should use them for your real estate needs. The best referral you can get.
No question.
So let's talk about what they don't help us in real estate. Again, item number 6, personal marketing. Really, I call it business marketing, your business marketing. I think a lot of us fall down there. Art talked about being a secret agent. We can't be secret agents. We've got to market our business and our practice. Art, why don't you kind of give us maybe an idea of how you kind of market your business? Talk about some of those
there's
things.
a couple of different ways. I think all of us are engaged to some degree in social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. There are numerous ways that we can all get better at social media. That is instantaneous. And the downside of that, of course, if you say or do something that becomes public knowledge in a real hurry, I've always said that San Antonio is the biggest small town I've ever been in my life.
Yep.
The word will spread fast. Good news doesn't travel quite as fast as bad news. So be careful. That would be my advice to you is be careful with what you do, say, and act on social media, but you've got to use it. It's the key to finding people that are a lot like us.
Yep.
And we all match up well with certain types of people, and those should be our ideal clients. If we don't match up well, they're not for us, and it's probably going to be a very, very tough transaction. I know all of us have had people that we would rather have had situations that go a certain way and they didn't. And working to make that situation right the best you can will never hurt you.
Yep.
It can only help.
No, I agree with you. I think, Art talked about social media there, and social media plays an important role in any marketing of your business and your personal business as well. And what I think is I kind of look at all the above with respect to social media marketing, whether it's direct mail campaigns. One of the things I've learned, or that I've kind of analyzed, I guess, unscientifically, I should say, is social media saturation. I tend to look at likes from other social media campaigns. So I noticed that people that they're always posting on social media. There's a lot of real estate agents. Facebook was almost created for the real estate industry, it seems like. There's a lot of real estate professionals, a lot of real estate agents that post on Facebook and other social media all the time, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or other sites. And so there's a lot of posts, and sometimes you see the same people over and over and over again. It's almost saturation to the point where I ignore their post. So I think one of the things you got to consider when using social media is a balance. How do you figure out that balance? Well, I think you figure out that balance by your likes. If you're posting so much, you're only getting the same 3 or 4 people to like your post every day, you're probably posting so much. But if you post maybe, I don't know, once or twice a week or whatever it might be, whatever the magic number is for you, and you get 145 likes, then you probably got some good posts. So I don't know. It's something you have to measure, though, and I think it's something you got to be cognizant of and pay attention to, because you don't want to oversaturate with too many posts to the point where people going, here's Allan posting again about his new listing. Here's Allan posting about something. I've seen this post 5 times a day on the closing he had last week. Okay, so my point is, I don't think you want to overpost or oversaturate the market. But I think one of the things we forget to do. And again, there was a study done earlier this year where there was a guy did a study and he interviewed 500 agents across the country, and he asked them where did they get their last 5 closings from, and 86% of their closings came from 86% of them came from past clients, sphere of influence, and friends and family. So that tells me the contacts in your phone, the contacts in your database. We talked about database management a few minutes ago. Those people are some of the most important prospects you have, and are the easiest people to reach out to get business, and the easiest people to market to. And guess what? Doesn't cost a whole lot of money to reach out to those people.
So then why don't we do that more often?
And that's the question we all need to ask ourselves. I talked to an agent a couple of months ago, and I asked him, he's a pretty successful agent, and I asked him, how'd you get started? He goes, I went to the library and I looked at my phone and I just started going through all my contacts in my phone and started calling everybody in my phone, telling them I'm in real estate. And some of people, I didn't even have their last name. I just had Art. Here's his phone number. In fact, I don't even have if I look at my phone, I don't have Art's first name. I have Meister, because I got his phone number 25 years ago. But my point is, he started calling people and reaching out to them. The guy does 4 or 5 million in sales a year, just by calling people in his phone. And it doesn't cost him a penny to do that. So marketing is all on your perspective, and it's just sitting down, figuring out what works for you. It might be social media, but my point is it has to be a lot more than just one thing. It has to be a lot of things. Do what works for you.
Well, one of the things that we all learn, and we can all go back to those first few days we spent in our real estate careers, all of us, and maybe some of us still do, we're all looking for that shiny penny.
Yep.
And we're all chasing that one situation that we think will turn it all around. And we waste thousands of dollars chasing this avenue or that avenue or this way to do it or that way to do it. So find something that you like. Find something that you can stay with for a year. Stay with it. Everything works. That's my advice.
Yep.
To the people I see. Everything works. Our problem is we jump from one strategy to the next. If we would build the strategy and stay with it and continue to improve it, it will work. Everything does. They just don't show up without ideas. Yep. And without results. The reason we don't get results is because we quit.
Exactly right. There's an old adage in advertising. It's called frequency. You don't do it just one time, you do it 300 times. It might not work the first time, but when it works that 300th time, it pays you back. And so frequency is so important, persistency and perseverance are so important in any career, especially real estate. The next topic we've kind of been covering, and it goes client communication. Again, sitting down, and if you don't have a sphere of influence, maybe you're new to San Antonio, or there's a lot of ways to get a sphere of influence. Your church, your children's school if you have children, social programs you belong to, or social organizations, charities. But pulling out your phone and going through your contact list, it's that simple, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. That's your client contacts or prospect contacts. Start communication, and of course client communication, we talked about it a few minutes ago as well. When you're under contract, when you have a listing, one of the things I do when I have an active listing, the market's slowing down a little bit, so we're not selling homes in 3 or 4 days anymore. They're staying on the market a little bit longer. So every Monday I make it a point to call my active listings and telling them, here's what happened last week on your listing, and here's what happened last week in the market. So whether you have a client or you have prospect, staying in communication with those prospects, staying in communication with your clients, and of course if you're under contract, staying in communication to let them know where we're at in the process of we're under contract, we're going to close in 30 days, here's when the inspections are, here's when the appraisal is going to be, and here's when we're going to close. Keeping them in communication is so important, and that shows your clients you're earning your fee.
Yeah, that's it. How many of us are going through that situation where our clients question our fees and question what we do? So that's another thing that we don't have necessarily on our list today. But yep. how do we present our value to our buyers and our sellers?
We'll call that coming attractions.
Coming attractions.
Stay tuned.
I'm good with that.
Anyway, stay tuned for more, because we're going to have a show on how to justify your fee and how to justify the money we earn as real estate professionals, both on the buyer and seller side. The next one is how to show appreciation. Art, I know you love this one. Simply saying thank you goes a long way in the real estate industry, and it doesn't have to be an elaborate gift. People, I see these social media posts from agents all the time. What do you give a client? I just closed a $1.2 million sale. What do I give a client? Give them a gift card to home, to whatever, just give them a $25 gift card. Here's my point. Writing a great thank you card, giving them some appreciation, saying thank you goes a long way to a lot of people. One of the things, again, a lot of it, Art and I both take in Ninja, we talk about appreciation and gratitudes every day, right? But also sending an appreciation or a thank you card to people out of the clear blue, handwritten, goes a long way as well. Wouldn't you agree, Art?
Yeah, it's a lost art for sure.
Absolutely.
It is something that we don't do. I'll share a quick story. I did write one this morning. We went over to some friends of ours for a little refreshment last night and some card playing, and this morning I sent him a thank you note.
Yep.
Now those things do go a long way.
Absolutely.
The issue is just like everything else we've talked about today, it's discipline. And you're either going to do that or you're not. You're either going to commit to doing that, and you don't need to worry about your handwriting. There are plenty of services out there that you can get to write the notes. You just type it in, they put it in some handwriting deal, and you send it out.
You can use AI.
You can use so many different tools right now.
Yep.
But people still like to get mail.
Yep.
You know, a text, we get text messages all day long. We get emails all day long. But we don't get appreciation in a handwritten note very often. Think about this. When was the last time somebody said thank you to you that wasn't your family in a thank you note and you received it in the mail?
Well, I think
I'm going to guess it's been a while.
I think something, you mentioned family. I think sometimes family is the people that neglect you the most. Sometimes sending your family member a thank you card or appreciation card even goes a longer way because they haven't really heard from you either.
You might be right.
And I think that goes a long way. But I'll never forget, and I'm going to share a story with you too. One time, a long time ago, when I was a young man, I got a thank you card from somebody. I was at a Chamber of Commerce event. And I was talking to, at the time, the mayor of San Antonio, just a brief conversation. I was probably 25, 30 years old. And I asked him, we talked about the Spurs or something like that. And about 3 or 4 or 5 days later, in the mail, I get a card that says, "Hey, Allan, it was great seeing you at the Chamber Mixer, Mayor Henry Cisneros." And I'll never forget that. Only thing I gave him was my card. But apparently he wrote on the back of my card, Spurs. He probably had his secretary write the appreciation letter or the appreciation note. But I remember that 35, 40 years ago. And here's my point. Now that's how important these appreciation notes are. People remember them. So when you meet somebody, I make it a point now, every Monday, I try to sit down and send 2 or 3 notes out, and I still do it to this day, of people I met last week. So if I met you, I'm not talking about if I met you, if I already know you. I'm talking about people I met brand new, outside of the real estate industry. I'm going to send you a note saying, "Hey, it was great meeting you at our church social. It was great meeting you at the Chamber Mixer," or whatever it was, and we talked about the rodeo or something like that. And that's all it says. "Hey, it was great meeting you at our church social. I'm glad that you got a chance to go to the rodeo this year. I heard it was highly entertaining." Boom. That's all I put, and I sign it, and they remember me. And I've even gotten calls from people that said, "Hey, Allan, I got your card today. This is really great." But you know what I also do with those people I met last week? They go in my database and my database management.
And that's what I was going to suggest, is make sure when you send those notes out that you track that in your database, because you're going to want to know the communication that you've had at some point in time. So it's a good idea to write that down.
Absolutely.
Write down who you send them to and the day
and when you
sent
send them. Yep, yep. Because they will remember you, and it goes a long way. And guess what? Now that they're in your database, you put them on e-greeting campaigns, drip campaigns, informational campaigns, and when they have a real estate need, they're going to recall that handwritten note, and they're going to come to Art or Allan for their real estate needs. And that's what it's all about.
And it could be something that may apply to their business or what they do for a career.
Absolutely.
That you had seen some interesting article, and you may want to just cut that out, put it in a thank you note, or put it in just a note and send it to them. Just send them a copy of the article. That will come back to you, and that comes back quickly. They will send you a text message, and I promise you they'll respond.
They'll send you a text or call you, and they're impressed. The last and final one, video production. Videos. When I got into real estate, 20 some odd years ago, nobody had videos. In fact, you couldn't even, without buying a lot of elaborate equipment, you couldn't do a video. You couldn't even take digital photographs back then. You'd Polaroid pictures or something. But anyway, a lot of you don't even know what Polaroid pictures are, even though the Polaroid camera's starting to make a comeback, I guess. But my point is, video production is important, and you don't have to be a professional to do video production nowadays. And I think Art and I are learning that craft. But go ahead, Art.
We are learning that. That's for sure. But when I talk to people about video, there's a couple things that are always objections that they come up with. I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. My hair wasn't combed. My makeup wasn't done. I had on the wrong color dress, the wrong color shirt. The excuses are a mile long when it comes to filming ourselves.
Yep.
But if you'll take that and just work to get better every day, it's a process.
Yep.
And the things that you did a year ago, you're not going to be doing today. But if you start today, a year from now, you're going to be much, much better. I can go back at some of the videos I've shot and I think, oh my gosh, that was disgusting. And it's there. But you can see, hopefully, the improvement over time, and you get rid of some of the things that you may do. Perhaps it's a stuttering and a thinking where our mind pauses and we're looking to fill that space. You can always be critical about that, but know this. Your clients are not going to be that critical. The people that see you are not going to be that critical. What they're looking for is value and information that benefits them. And if you can provide that in your message, whatever it is, they will respond when the time is necessary for them. And they may turn around and tell their friends.
Absolutely.
You need to follow this guy. Or you need to follow this gal.
Yep.
So just work on it. Did you know that only 4% of the real estate community uses video?
I did not know that, Art. Wow.
4%.
Wow.
4%. So there's 96% of us that aren't making any attempt to do it. So ask yourself this. Will the top 4% do more business than the other 96%? I don't know. But there's an opportunity to do more business because video is certainly on the fast track to get to people that we want to do business with and build relationships over the long term, continue to build our database and gain referrals and develop our business.
And most people would much rather watch a video than read through a 3 or 4 paragraph email.
I would.
It's that simple. Absolutely, I would too.
I would.
Anyway, I always make a joke. I say Art and I have faces that were meant for radio. But
and here we are doing podcasts on YouTube.
But anyway, Art, why don't you sign us off today?
All right. Thank you, Allan. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media. You can reach us, call either one of us anytime. You can call, text, or email. We'd love to help you.
And the contact information is right here, either right below us or right above us on our site. We look forward to seeing you next week on Knowing Real Estate with Art and Allan. Thanks, guys.